This morning, Governor Udom Emmanuel says government places priority on workers' welfare as Joint Public Service Negotiating Council inaugurates new executives. Speaker of State House of Assembly expresses preparedness of the House to encourage the growth of the social sector of Akwa Ibom State economy. University of Lagos Alumni Association Akwa Ibom State Branch holds 2015 Annual General Meeting on Sunday. Details in just a moment. A very good morning to you and thanks for joining us. My name is Augusta Isien. A new executive of the State Joint Public Service Negotiating Council has been inaugurated. The new executive has Comrade Tina Isien as chairman and Comrade Emmanuel Ebute as the vice chairman. The event, which was held at the Civil Service Auditorium in Onwesenkanga Secretariat, had the State Governor, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, as the special guest. Anietia Baitam filed in this report.
Others inaugurated were Comrade Akamba Awa, Secretary, Comrade Paulina Isaac, Treasurer, Comrade Christy Okun, Assistant Secretary of the Council, which comprises of Council 1, Council 2, and Council 3. Declaring the event open, the State Governor, Mr. Udom Emmanuel, represented by his Special Assistant on Labor, Productivity and Manpower Planning, Mr. Ekpenyong Eyina, said that workers in the state are placed as priority in his agenda, adding that without them, there is no government. Governor Emmanuel said that government was working hard to address the challenges faced by workers in the state, stating that the release of the 2012-2014 promotion of workers has been concluded. He said that the payment of salaries to the newly recruited workers in the civil service, as well as payment of other entitlement to the workers, have begun. The governor congratulated the officers of the Joint Public Service Negotiating Council and advised them to work in concert with the government to address the plight of workers effectively. He said that unionism is all about negotiation and discussion to be able to achieve the desired goal.
The workers cannot be toyed with in this very present administration. Welfare of the workers is one of the top priority of His Excellency the Udom Emmanuel's administration. And that he has done that by explicitly expressing his intention not only to the workers but to the good people of Akwa Ibom State.
The outgone chairman of the council, Elder Udemo Otong, in his address recalled the achievement of the council during his tenure to include ensuring of industrial peace in the civil service and negotiating for 18,000 naira minimum wage with minimum stress. He said that his tenure ensured that salaries were paid as at when due, in addition to the refund of the 7.5% pension fund. Elder Atong appealed that official vehicle be provided to council to facilitate the movement of the executive.
I wish to advise my colleagues who were newly elected into leadership position in the Congress, especially those of them who are yet to come to terms with the roles of young council, to tread carefully in the interest of the labor movement in the state.
In her acceptance speech, the new chairman of the council, Comrade Tina Isien, thanked the workers for finding her fit for the position and promised to work in accordance to the dictate of the council in negotiating with the government to settle and address the problem facing workers in the state.
Today marks another milestone in the history of labor in Akwa Ibom State, because this is the first time a woman has been elected to lead the Joint Public Service Negotiating Council in Akwa Ibom State.
Goodwill messages were presented by the head of civil service, represented by the permanent secretary in our office, Mrs. Stella Etuopan, Chairman Trade Union Congress, Comrade Akamba Awa, former Chairman NLC, Comrade Unyime Usoro, Permanent Secretary, Government House, Pastor Omo, and Comrade Etim Awana. Anietie Apaitam reporting.
The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mr. Nofio Luke, has said that the legislature would do everything in its power to encourage the growth of the social sector of the Akwa Ibom economy. Mr. Luke was speaking in a reaction to the defense of the 2016 budget of the Akwa Ibom State Water Company Limited by the managing director of that company, Engineer Ernest Usoro. Our Assembly Bureau Chief, Chris Nkang, has the story.
The social sector, according to the Speaker, includes water, electricity, and others which cater for the interests and progress of the people. He commended the efforts of the present government in ensuring that the sector thrives through improvements in water and electricity supply. The Speaker said the House of Assembly will assist the water company and other suppliers of social services to be useful to the citizens of Akwa Ibom State. On the dwindling income generation of the water company, the Speaker asked why the company should not aim to surpass its 2015 revenue.
Taking into consideration the fact that the government is going to fund the expansion of water distribution, government is going to fund reticulation, government is going to build more headworks, government is going to make sure that other headworks that were not functional are going to be functional, like the one we have in Wanimba, the one we have in Etinan, the one we have in Orangu. So take into consideration that we are going to have an expand of clientele, which in turn should make us have a return as in at the level of rate. I think that think more on how we can get more revenue.
The managing director of the State Water Company, Engineer Ernest Usoro, had told the Appropriation of Finance Committee of the House that the company's expected revenue generation for 2016 was lower than that which it generated in 2015. However, for this fiscal year, he said the company needs 4 billion naira to reticulate water in Akwa Ibom State, install water meters in consumers' outlets, among other projects.
2.6 billion naira is allocated for the actual procurement and installation of pipelines and fittings in the whole of Akwa Ibom State.
When the special advisor to the governor on political and legislative affairs, Mr. Anietie took his turn, he said although the Bureau has budgeted 250 million naira for 2016, it wants the House Committee to appropriate adequate funds for it to prepare for the population census in Akwa Ibom State.
For us to have almost 10 million or so for a census that will take care of the entire state, it seems that we are not ready.
On his part, the General Manager of APRUWASAN, Mr. Effiong Essien, said the agency has not received any money from the government for its services in the past 8 years, while Mr. Effiong Peters, Permanent Secretary in the Bureau of Cooperative and Food Sufficiency, wants money approved for the completion of produce warehouses in Ibesikpo Sultan, Esinodam, and Ona local government areas. Dr. Dean Udom, Director General of Akwa Ibom State Road and Other Infrastructures Maintenance Agency, said the agency requires 1.5 billion naira for the maintenance of roads all over the state. The head of cadastral surveys in the Office of the Surveyor General of Akwa Ibom State, Mr. Emmanuel Usoro, who represented his principal, said the office could generate 380 million naira into the coffers of the state in 2016 if adequate mapping can be carried out in the state. On her part, the Commissioner for Science and Technology, Dr. Elizabeth Ubud, said for 2015, the ministry budgeted 1.36 billion naira, accessed 92 million naira or 7% of that amount, and is proposing 851 million naira for 2016.
In 2015, approved provision was a total of 362,500,000 naira. Out of this, what the office was able to generate was just a total in the form of 50,409,000 19,275 naira.
Took over the management of the e-library in August, to be precise. So between August and December, we were able to make 34,766,274 naira.
Others who also defended their budgets were the Commissioner for Transport, Godwin Ntode, who hopes to boost the transportation system in Akwa Ibom State with 2.8 billion naira in 2016. Sir Marcus Enene, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture and Tourism, who pleaded for 86 million naira to maintain the golf course at Low Meridian Ibom Hotel and Golf Resort, and also funds to provide perimeter fencing at the Union Park on Udo-Udoma Avenue, Uyo, while the Secretary to the State Pilgrims Welfare Board, Rose Uko, wants money to build a Pilgrims Hall in an area in Uyo that is not close to any road. Chris Nkang reporting.
Polytechnic, Canaan Polytechnic, situated at Ikorobiakai, Mining local government area, admitted first batch of students into 3 schools that operate in the institution. A maiden matriculation ceremony held at the school premises was attended by members of the board of the Polytechnic as well as family members and friends of the matriculating students. AI Nopo has details.
Canaan Polytechnic was granted license to operate as a full-fledged polytechnic with 3 schools, namely Schools of Engineering, Natural and Applied Sciences, Social and Management Sciences. The Polytechnic, which had her first matriculation last weekend, has 7 departments. Addressing the new intake, the proprietor of the Polytechnic, Dr. Oyota Kingsley, said that the institution is bearing out of his passion and love for education. Dr. Kingsley added that since education is the key to progress in any society, the need to assist government establish institutions of learning is not wasted effort. He said that the institution has equipped its facilities for effective learning, well-educated lecturers, and serene learning environments. He advised the students to make good use of the opportunity afforded them by studying hard and to graduate with good grades, and also lauded the state government for its drive towards education.
The Polytechnic seeks to achieve not only academic excellence but also a moral uprightness of students. Such holistic approach in our training is very impressive and reference to employment.
Admitting the students into the Polytechnic programs, the rector, Barrister Steve Okuyang, told them to operate by the rules and regulations guiding the institution. Barrister Okuyang said that acts such as cultism, examination malpractice, indecent dressing, and other vices capable of putting the institution in a bad light will not be tolerated. He congratulated them for securing admission into the school, but advised that they study hard.
Today marks another very important milestone in the history of this young institution, the Canaan Polytechnic. Let me start by very respectfully honoring the Pro-Chancellor of this institution for the unique vision, the service of human benefit. This great institution.
The chairman governing board of the Polytechnic, Pastor Obong Akpabio, the registrar, Mr. Ubongdem, and some matriculating students also spoke at the ceremony.
I want to congratulate the students and their guardians for their confidence and patronage. We, as members of the governing board of Canaan Polytechnic, wish to assure you that we will support and defend the vision and mission of the institution, which is to train and produce professionals in various fields.
Thank you very much.
The students earlier took the matriculation oath and signed the matriculation register.
I will to the best of my ability and to hold myself in honor
and to hold myself in honor,
bound loyally to serve the Polytechnic and my country always.
bound loyally to serve the Polytechnic and my country always.
Iyagenopo reporting.
To protect children against measles, which causes blindness and death, a 5-day measles campaign for children between 9 months and 5 years has begun throughout the state. The campaign, which is holding in all the 17 states of the Federation, 17 southern states of Nigeria, is ongoing. Ruaikong, who visited Itam Health Center, its local government area, found out this and filed in this report.
At the Primary Healthcare Center, West Itam 1, Ibiaku Itam, Itu local government area, the supervisors had gathered to receive the measles vaccine and other accessories needed for the exercise. A large crowd of mothers and few fathers had converged there to have their babies vaccinated against measles, one of the childhood killer diseases. The parents commended the Akwa Ibom State government for the massive publicity given the campaign, particularly the banner hoisted and the announcements made in churches asking parents and caregivers to present their children for the vaccination. Commenting on the impressive turnout for the exercise, the Social Mobilization Officer in the Ministry of Health, Mrs. Evelyn Eyo, commended the health officials for their positive attitude towards the success of the exercise.
And many of them told us that they heard it through the radio. They also saw the banners, what we call the Information Education Communication with IEC. Because they charged us to 9 months, the child is not fit to receive any measles vaccination.
The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Dominic Ukpong, said necessary tools and logistics have been provided for the campaign and commended UNICEF and the World Health Organization, WHO, for their support.
I would like to remind all Akwa Ibomites, and particularly our parents, the mothers especially, that measles is a killer disease. So I encourage every parent to go and have this immunization and call others, remind them that it is here. It is free, it is safe, and it is effective.
Udwa Keko reporting.
You're watching AKBC 45 News this morning. For the benefit of those just tuning in, we said earlier that a new executive of the State Joint Public Service Negotiating Council has been inaugurated. The new executive has Comrade Tina Sien as chairman and Comrade Emmanuel Ebute as the vice chairman. We also said that the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mr. Onofio Gluck, has said that the legislature would do everything in its power to encourage the growth of the social sector of the Akwa Ibom economy. We want to take a break. When we return, we have more news for you. Do stay on with us. Welcome back. The Akwa Ibom branch of the University of Lagos Alumni Association is holding its 2015 annual general meeting on Sunday, 31st January 2016. The meeting, which will begin by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, will have the State Governor, Mr. Udomi Emmanuel, as special guest, while a former first National Vice President of the organization, Dr. Emmanuel Ukpong, will be chairman. A statement by the Publicity Secretary of the organization, Evangelist Grace Friday, indicates that Justice Inyang Okoro of the Supreme Court, a retired Chief Judge of the State, Justice Idonwesen Temiswa, the National President of the University of Lagos Alumni Association, Dr. Sunny Kuku, and the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman, Governing Council of the University of Benin, Senator Effiong Bob, will be guests of honor at the meeting. Others are Sir S.U. Akpan, President of the IMF ICT Academy, the Commissioner for Finance, Mr. Akanukun, and the Head of Civil Service, Akwa Ibom State, Mrs. Ekerabong Akpan. According to the statement, the paramount ruler of Basutan local government area, Iriden Itaba Setuk, will be the father of the day, while the Chief Judge of the State, Justice Stephen Okon, will be the host. The branch president and former accountant general of the state, Deacon Ezara Dibara, will be chief host, while Elder Sani Ekbo serves as chairman of the planning committee. Students of St. Columbanus Secondary School, Ikwen, Burakara local government area were in the transmitting station of the AKBC to acquaint themselves with the processes of broadcasting. The students who were received by Mr. Patrick Benedict on arrival were shown around the different units of the transmitting house. Benedict Itam filed on this report.
At the radio unit of the station, the students will brief on the processes of transmitting radio signals. The technicians on duty, Mr. Victor Moore and Mr. Joseph Akpan, told the students that audio from human beings were being converted into electrical waves and sent out through the transmitter. They say that waves are being received via electrical receiver called radio set in our different homes. At newsroom of the radio, the students were received by the Deputy Director, News and Current Affairs Radio, Mr. Nyorekwere, who told the processes that news items go through before they are broadcast. Mr. Kwere mentioned such processes to include editing, where editors take time to look at the grammar, the facts, and the arrangement of the facts.
Radio is a very sensitive organ. It's not everything that happens that you report or hear. Do you understand me? Yes. Because if you should report everything that happens, there are some stories that could cause friction in the site, that could cause very big trouble, especially in the rural communities. So the work of the editorial units, headed by editors, is to now look at these stories as they come, and then edit them and remove such stories that could cause problem or that could cause this corporation some litigation.
The students also visited the television studio and the newsroom. At the television studio, the television director, Mr. Emmanuel Effiong, told them of the functions of the equipment used for transmission, such as the audio console, the cameras, the camera control, and the monitors. As staff of the school, Mr. Wisdom Akban and some students expressed appreciation to the AKBC for approving their visit to the transmitting station.
Relief came the way of inmates of the Motherless Babies Home in Ona local government area as members of the Government House Prayer Committee visited the home to donate food items, toiletries and cash for their upkeep. The Special Assistant to the Governor on Religious Affairs, the Reverend Daniel Akwatang, who led the delegation, said the visit was ongoing, aimed at identifying with orphans and the less privileged in the state. The stories here presented.
Reverend Akwatang further explained that the money used for the purchase of the items were from offerings raised during the monthly prayer program of the State Exco, backed up by the support of Governor Odo Emmanuel, whom he said was very concerned about the welfare of the underprivileged in the state. He prayed for the survival of the babies and thanked the keepers of the home for their sacrifice and love in caring for the children.
We make it a duty to get offering during the service. When we take the offering, we don't keep it. We go around to places like this, destitute homes, orphanages, those who are handicapped in one way or another. We reach out to them and touch their lives.
The chairman of the Government House Prayer Committee, Pastor Emmanuel Bassi, who presented the items, also urged the workers of the house to regard themselves as servants of God who will be rewarded appropriately. He said with proper care, the motherless children could grow to become great men and women in the state.
We give you this purse. We pray that the Almighty God will help you and help the staff that are here to use that money and these items conscientiously.
Responding on behalf of the babies, the Chief Nursing Officer in charge of the home, Mr. Sonda Nathaniel Akban, thanked the prayer committee for the visit and gifts. He expressed hope that the items would go a long way to augment the upkeep of the babies and urge other individuals and groups to emulate the example.
I also want to thank you for the sacrifice you've made for at least thinking about these helpless children, because I know mere having that feeling in you have attracted God's blessings to you and all the people who have sacrificed in one way or the other to provide all these things for their upkeep.
You can also watch AKBC TV News online by logging on to akbconline.org or follow us on Twitter at AKBC45U or on Facebook at AKBC Channel 45. And to end the news, another look at the top stories. A new executive of the State Joint Public Service Negotiating Council has been inaugurated. The new executive has Comrade Tina Essien as chairman and Comrade Emmanuel Ebute as vice chairman. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mr. Nofio Luke, has said that the legislature would do everything in its power to encourage the growth of the social sector of the state's economy. Mr. Luke was speaking in a reaction to the defense of the 2016 budget of the Akwa Ibom State Water Company Limited by the managing director of that company, Engineer Ernest Usoro. That's a package. We have another one for you at 12. Do remember to join us, and on behalf of the production team, it's God bless you.